2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the beat back.
Hello YouTube, it's the Kingpin of Cinema here to give you guys a latest deck review. Just as a little bit of a notice, this is a deck for casual play. This is not standard or tournament legal by any means.
We know it sucks, stop heckling us.
If you have, this is just a deck to give you deck ideas and the such, and if you have any comments or improvements, feel free to add them into the comment section. Now, what this deck is a zombie cleric deck. Now, I'm a huge fan of zombies, and since Magic gives me the ability to make a zombie deck, I'm going to take it, and this is one of the two that I have. Now, how zombie cleric works is, see, back in the days in Onslaught, you had a cleric zombie deck, which were mostly cleric, and how it worked was, you have this guy, Dark Supplement. Now, how he functions, you get, say, 3 clerics in a play. You sacrifice him and 2 others, and you get a Scion of Darkness. A guy that normally costs 8, you get him into play for free, either from your hand, graveyard, or from your deck. He's a 6/6 trample. When he does combat damage to a player, you get to search his graveyard for a creature, and you get to put it into play under your control. And you can cycle him for 3, so he doesn't clog up your hand. So he's pretty good. And the whole deck idea was really, really good. But now where things get interesting is when you sack these guys. If you have one of these guys out in play, Rotlung, for every cleric that dies, or goes into the graveyard, I should say, you get a 2/2 zombie with him. And it counts for himself as well. So now, if you can imagine, if you have 2 of them out in play, you get 2 zombies for each cleric that hits the graveyard. And it doesn't have to be your clerics either. It can be your opponent's clerics as well. So, as you can imagine, the more of them you have out in play, the more zombies you get. So, basically, I tried to make this as zombie-centric as possible. The more creatures that have zombie cleric in their creature type, the better. So with so many zombies in this deck, you want to try and run definitely guys like Undead War Chief, which also came out in Onslaught. They make zombies cost 1 less, and all zombies get +2/+1, including himself. So I run 2 of him, a couple of Death Barons. They give all zombies and skeletons +1/+1 and Death Touch. I have no skeletons in here, but it's pretty good for zombies. So with 1 Undead War Chief and 1 Death Baron, all your zombies are going to get +3/+2. So since there are naturally 2 2s, they're all going to be 5 4s with Death Touch. If you have a few of those guys out in play, you're going to put a lot of pressure on your opponent. So there's really 2 ways to win with this deck. Overrun or life gain. Basically causing your opponent to lose 2 life and gain 2 life. So everything about this deck is about sacking creatures to gain life or to make zombies. Or in one case, Extractor Demon to mill your opponent. He's not completely necessary. You can honestly replace him with another Vishra the Dreadful, or if you have him, Grave Titans. Grave Titan, Death Touch, 6/6. Whenever he comes into play, get 2 zombies. Whenever he attacks, get 2 more zombies. So now, going to go through the cards in this set and explain a few other mechanisms that work here. We're going to start with the spells. We got a few Search Your Deck cards, Diabolic Tutor and a Demonic Tutor. We have a Victimize. You sack a creature in play, take 2 creatures from your graveyard, put them into play tapped. Then we have Profane Prayers, Basically, for every cleric you have in play, target creature or player loses X life and you gain X life. Now I run 2 of them. You could probably do 3 or 4 easily. If the 4 mana cost is a little too much, you could also do Feeding Frenzy, which is an instant. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, and X is the number of zombies in play. I prefer this because I get life with this. 2 Patriarch's Biddings. Now with Patriarch's Bidding, each player chooses a creature type, and you return to play all creatures of chosen type. So, you may wonder if you're fighting against other tribal decks, your opponent get all their creatures back, and that would be bad. But thankfully, with Weathered Wretch, you tap 1 mana and remove a card in any graveyard from the game. So basically, you control what your opponent has in their graveyard. So basically, it screws over any recurrence deck, or any card that I play that returns stuff. So these guys are cool. For 2 mana, you get a 2/2, and an ability that doesn't require him to tap, and you can use it the turn he comes out. Beseech the Queen, another Search Your Deck card. 3 Dark Rituals, always a necessity in any black deck. Profane Command, which also does recurrence and minus, and can give your creatures fear if you're not playing against black or artifact. Grave Pact, also another necessity for any kind of black deck. 2 Misery Charms, this is another form of recurrence. You could probably run 4 of these. I choose 2 because I already have a lot going on here. Basically, you can destroy target cleric, return a cleric from your graveyard to your hand, or you can cause a player to lose 2 life. Decree of Pain. Now, this can do 2 things. You can pay 8 and kill every creature in play, and they can't be regenerated, and you get to draw a card for each creature destroyed. Or you can cycle it for 5, and everything gets -2/-2. So basically, if you're fighting against with those pesky goblin or elf decks that put down a ton of creatures, this can clear the field with this. You may lose some stuff, but it stops them in their tracks. Calling of the Weak, basically, sacrifice a creature, get 4 black mana. This is a mana source. See, back in the days, they had cards that were known as mana sources, but basically, it's a sorcery.
I thought they were instants.
Actually, yeah, I think you're right. It could be used as an instant.
Because I know Dark Ritual is an instant, and that used to be a
mana source.
Well.
Yeah. See, now you're learning some stuff about old school cards. I miss the old school. Now we get into creatures, and we can get into a few other strategies you can run with this game. I run 2 Gem Palm Polluters, not because he's a good creature, but mostly for his cycling cost. When you cycle him, not only do you get to draw a card, but for every zombie you have in play, target opponent loses 1 life. Now, keep in mind this is life lost and not damaged, so it's a lot harder to counter with. So you can play all those damage prevention cards that you have, won't mean a thing. It's life lost. Sorry, buddy. Now we have Shepherds of the Rot, which are fun. Basically, you tap them, and everyone loses 1 life for every zombie in play. So as long as you have more life than your opponents, you can slowly kill them off of these guys. Now we run 3 Dark Supplements, and I already went through how that guy works. Extractor Demon, 2 Undead War Chiefs. You could probably, I'd suggest maybe doing 3. Grave Titan, I'd love to have another one, but they're expensive. Hey, cards aren't cheap, kids. Weathered Wretch, 2 of them. 2 Death Barons, 2 Cabal Archons.